Welcome to Michiana Main Lines. I'm back again with a continuation of some of the classic video that I have. We're continuing with where we left off before in North Judson, Indiana. This is the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum, the way it looked in March 30th, 1991. And I'll be talking about how things have changed now in 2019, as well as a few other locations we're going to be looking at. Old signal in North Judson that's looking east on the old, what was the old Erie, Maine. Old passenger car collection. As I've said previously, this museum has come an awful long way over the years. They have become more organized. They have really got more equipment. They're actually getting a lot of things in running order and restoring a lot of items, and it's definitely worth a trip down there if you haven't been already. North Judson is just an interesting place. As I've said before, I mean, all of the abandonments of the 80s really affected this area hard. It has to be on one of the short lists of towns that were kind of left behind when the railroads left, as far as what remained. Back in the day, you had four major railroads coming through here: the New York Central, the C&O, the Erie, and a double-track Pennsylvania. Now all that remains is the Chesapeake in Indiana and the museum trackage. You know, just totally shocking from what it once was to what it is now, but at least there is preservation happening here at the museum, where hopefully there will always be some form of rail in town. Again, looking eastward on the old Erie. Now we are in Stillwell, Indiana. This is the Grand Trunk Main Line, where it crosses the Norfolk Southern Michigan City Argus line, which we looked at in previous versions. A double track Grand Trunk line, and there you can see the diamonds of the Norfolk. Kind of to the northeast there, you can see there was an interchange, kind of a half of a Y that went through. There was also a Y on the southeast side, which connected the Norfolk Southern with the Grand Trunk. I don't recall if that was still in place at this time or not, but it is gone now. There is only the Y to the northeast, which I assume they still must interchange with Norfolk and Southern. Of course, now Grand Trunk has firmly been taken over operations by Canadian National North America. And the Norfolk and Western is now operated by the South Shore in this area. They operate it down to a point called Dillon, where they go into the Kingsbury Industrial Park. We'll be looking at that in a little bit. That's a very interesting place. This is looking southward. I believe that tank there is gone now. I think that things have changed quite a bit in that area, but of course all the track here is still in place. Let's see, looking to the southwest, looking to the right is west, to the left is east. Now, there's an old crossbuck over there. There might have been remains of that Y, I'm not sure, but there is the one that is still in place. In fact, I think there might even be two tracks there now, but not sure of the extent of what is done. There's a look at the Y connection looking up north towards Michigan City. Again, this line here operated by South Shore now down to Dillon. Here we are now in Kingsbury, very interesting place. Used to be the big ammunitions depot way back when. Just a ton of warehouses were here with a track going alongside just about each one. Tons of track in this complex. At this time, there was a couple, 2 or 3 active businesses here utilizing some of that old trackage. This is one of them. A lot of ramshackle buildings here, a lot of buildings that were falling to pieces, but still life at a lot of the locations here. At that time you could find a lot of spurs, remains of spurs, tracks that went off into the woods and just disappeared, a lot of tracks overgrown with trees. Just a very fascinating place. There's one of the probably old warehouses. You had to be very careful walking around here. A lot of the areas were off limits and had fences put around them, warning you not to venture in because there was still possible ammunition buried around, which could still be live. So you kind of were on your own and traveling at your own risk if you went walking around in some of those areas there. We pretty much just kind of stayed close to the track and just did close-ups of some of the structures. Another kind of look around there. Very big complex. Now they're making a industrial park there. Well, they were already at that time. Now in 2019, I think there is still a couple businesses that do take freight there. Not too sure about a third. Some new buildings have gone up. I think they have tore down a lot of the older structures. I don't think there's as much there as there was looking at the Google views now. You can only imagine how busy that place was, though, back in the day when the ammunition was being made and stored there. Look at the track, not in the best of condition, but still being used where it needed to be. That track has been shored up quite a bit now in 2019. Under the South Shore operation, the lines there that are being used have been really upgraded quite a bit. Just a real sense of history there. Some of them roads weren't in the best of condition either. It was really difficult to drive into some of those locations. Real place of interest for history buffs in general, not just railroad lovers. Yeah, this point here is probably a little bit southwest of Dillon, which is where the Norfolk and Western line crossed the Michigan City Argus line, and it crossed the east-west ex-Wabash that went eastward through Lakeville, Indiana, and of course westward through Westville. At this time, much of that east-west line was gone, but Norfolk Southern still came in here from the east. They still had the line that ran east from Dillon to reach South Bend, where they went north from Pine Junction. But now in 2019, that track is all gone now east of Dillon. All you have is the stub coming west to get here into the park. I believe this is Hupp Road. This is kind of the main entrance into the park. That was a modern plant that was there with rail access on both ends. I believe it was called roll coater then. Some type of a steel processing plant. I think that might be a place called Precoat Metal now. They even had their own little switch engine in there, a little industrial switcher that we'll see in a little bit. I'm not sure the extent of their operation now. Another look at the sidings coming off of that east-west track into the complex. I believe that is looking north now. There was a bunch of warehouses over there. You can still see some of them. Or is that looking south? I think that's looking south. Yeah, I think we're actually looking south because there's the road. There you see some of the steel cars in the roll coater property. There's a little industrial switcher that they apparently use to shuttle the cars in and around their plant. Nice modern plant within an old historical location. That roll coater. Even have crossing signals. Another one of the businesses there. This might be Alexander Chemical Corporation now. Back then it was Cardinal, I believe. Yep, Cardinal Corp. Always a lot of tank cars there. Look at the track work there. Not in the best of condition, but good enough to get the job done. Some real sod track. I always liked sod track and tried to recreate it on my model layout as much as I could. Not really much of any kind of ballast remaining. Again, a look around the place. Almost looks like maybe a tornado came through or something, not just by the dark clouds, but by the debris kind of strewn around there. Another look at the track and some of the warehousing. And that kind of closes this chapter here. Here's just a little teaser of what we're going to be doing next. This is going to be a look around Wellsboro and some of the action going on around there. Again, thank you for watching. If you like any of this you see, please subscribe, like. I will keep doing this. It looks like there's enough of an interest, so I'm going to keep going through these videos and just putting stuff up here. I haven't done any lately because I've been pretty busy, but I want to try to get back into the swing of things. I think we're going to have a couple of chassis locomotives coming through here, which I think it's pretty hard to find any chassis painted locos anymore now, with CSX firmly having taken over the C&O operations. But we will have that coming up on the next edition of Michiana Mainlines. So tell all your friends to watch, and again, thanks for watching.